morning and welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and I am Rose. So today I am filming on my phone just because this is going to be short. I am gardening here in Zone 6A, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I have a number of projects today as every day, but the one project that I am going to film today is trimming up this shrub that I've purchased into a topiary form. So, first, we're in front of my house, and here's a look at my topiaries. Most of them were purchased. So this one is a spiral, and I've upplanted it. It was smaller. I've put it in this bigger pot and trimmed it up for the spring, and I like to underplant these. I just think it looks nice and festive and adds some color to all the green. And then this is another one I purchased. This one was a 3-ball, and same deal. I've up-potted it, trimmed it up. This is the second year for both of these. And I have petunias and pansies planted under them. So they seem to be doing well. I mixed in some slow-release fertilizer when I up-planted these, and I probably will only put fertilizer in once a year, like in the spring. And that's because they're in pots. If they were in the ground, I don't think I would fertilize evergreens, really. These are some new ones that I just got here. This is a little lavender tree, which was sold as an annual. But I'm going to try to take it indoors over the winter and put it in my grow tent or somewhere in the house, because I'd like to save it. It's just too cute. I like it. And these little ones are cypress. Yellow cypress, lemon cypress, or something like that. So they're not hardy to my zone. I'm in zone 6A, so I will have to take those in as well. Now this one I'm going to leave in a Christmas tree form, and this one I'm trying to shape into a ball at some point. So I've taken away the bottom, and then I'm waiting for this to get taller to continue with the trimming, because I want it taller. If I cut the tip off, it would stop growing height-wise, and it would be just this little thing. So that's what I'm doing with those, but they are too cute. And then the project today is this Blue Point Juniper, which has been in this pot since I got it. It's still in the pot from the store, and then I just stuck the pot down in this outdoor basket I have, and it's changed color. It's not looking good. I don't know what's going on. I water it regularly, but maybe too much sun or just not enough room in the pot. But I got to get it out of here, and I need to trim it up. My goal with this is to make it into a 3-ball topiary, but I want it to be taller than it is now. So from my understanding, and mind you, I am not a topiary expert. I've never made one other than a ball. So I've just watched YouTube videos like everybody else. So I want it to be taller, so I can't cut off this central stem because that's where it grows from. My understanding is the trees will continue to grow from the top. They're not, if I cut this off, it's going to just stay this height, but it'll get bushier. So I want it taller because I am making a 3-ball. So what I'm going to do initially, I think, is trim it into 2 balls and then leave this top leader to continue to grow to make the 3rd ball later, if you can understand that. So basically I'm going to trim this into 2 balls for now, but leaving this kind of peak at the top so that I can trim it into a 3rd ball later so that I can get a taller plant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this to the back, and that's where I'm going to film the actual trimming. But I'm going to up-pot it first, I think, into his new pot so that I then know that it's straight and level and everything. And then I will get to work on that, and I will film it. Here I have just a little ball, a little boxwood ball, topiary, again underplanted. And then I have one more, another ball, that's here in this spot, underplanted. It doesn't get much sun over here. This is a more of my little shade section, so it's not as big. Even the flowers aren't as big as the other one, so I may switch those around throughout the season, maybe to try to get that one to get a little bit more sun so it can grow. But yeah, so I'm gonna set up my camera. I don't like filming.
All right, so I am back here in the backyard with this shrub that I am going to prune into a potential 3-ball topiary. So before I get started on that, and I'm going to turn the camera around so it faces the shrub when it's time for that. I have a big pot here, and these are lightweight plastic pots that I get from Home Depot. It's either a 20-inch or 22-inch diameter. They're not too expensive. I usually will then get something to line the bottom with. I'm using just this landscape fabric that I have in a big roll, and I just cut a little piece off to keep dirt from getting out and too many things from getting in through the drainage hose. These came this time, they had the hose already drilled out. I've bought them last year and I had to drill holes into them, so that's nice. And then I have a little bit of just a generic slow release fertilizer, granular. I just buy this by the big bags, whichever brand, whichever store has it cheapest, big box store. And then, of course, I have my Blue Point Juniper that I am going to attempt to make into a potential, I say potential because I think I can only cut 2 balls now, and I have to wait till it gets taller to do the 3rd ball. But the idea is for this to be a 3-ball topiary that I will keep in this pot and then probably underplant with tiny flowers during the warm seasons like pansies and violas and stuff like that. And then I have pruning shears. I just bought a selection of the ones I have. These are Felco's, which is a really good brand. So I got these, I think, from their website maybe. And then I have some Fiskars that probably were given to me as a gift. People sometimes give me gardening presents. So this is a bigger one. And then these little scissors for fine work if I need them. I don't know that I'll need all these. I may be able to just use one of these. But these I have not used yet. These are called Joyce Chin. And there was a 2-pack, and they were inexpensive on Amazon. But I got these because they were recommended by Linda Botter, which is a YouTuber who has a very popular gardening channel and has had it for many years, it seems. But I just discovered her when I got into this landscape gardening. So I just discovered her about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And she's the one who got me turned on to topiaries. She is like the queen of topiaries on YouTube, at least. And so I am going off of some of what she has had to say and some other videos I was able to find. I'm not an expert at this by any means. I'm an amateur. And I just started landscape gardening last season. But I love topiaries. I just love them. So I also have some potting mix. I got some gloves. In the past, when I've trimmed my little topiaries, I sometimes will put them on a tarp so then I can pick that whole thing up with all the trimmings and dispose of it or compost it or whatever you're going to do. That makes it neat. But right now I have this on a stripway of the landscape fabric that I have laid down here, so it'll be easy to get it up. I don't have anything I'm going to use. So basically I'm gonna fill this pot with a little bit of the potting mix. We're about halfway full, and then I usually mix in the fertilizer kind of at the halfway point because the roots aren't going to be all the way filling the pot just yet, so there's no point in putting it at the bottom because the plants won't get it. And you know, I just like to have it mixed into the dirt a little bit. I don't like to put it on top either. And usually I dress these with something if I don't have flowers in around the base, which I might with this one actually because I do have a couple of trays of petunias. But I might put big stones. I have like bags of rocks that I buy at the home store, and sometimes I'll just put those on top. It helps retain moisture. It helps just keep it looking neat. And if you fill it completely, like with the little stones, which I do on the smaller topiaries or things that I'm going to bring inside in the winter, then it, to me, helps keep down bugs and stuff like that too, because a lot of bugs are in the soil or lay their eggs on the soil. And so when you're bringing stuff in from outside, they're already there. And so the next thing you know, you have an infestation of fungus gnats or whatever in your house, and I am not for bugs. I don't really like them outside, much less in my house. Anywho, so yeah, I'm going to probably include some petunias with this one though. All right, so let me move the camera so that it actually faces the plant, because I only have one camera today. I'm not going to try to set up a whole thing. And we'll get to work. All right, hopefully you can see what's going on in the pot. That's what's most important. I may have to adjust the angle of the camera a little bit. But basically, I've filled this about halfway with my potting mix. And potting mix, I just use something that says it's either potting mix or for raised containers or raised garden beds or for container gardening. That's usually what I get, whichever brand is the cheapest at the time where I am. Today I'm using Kellogg, which is a good brand from what I've read and heard, but that just happened to be what was on special at my Home Depot when I went looking for potting mix. So I got some generic, like even balanced NPK fertilizer here, low numbers, and I'm just gonna put, I don't measure, just a couple of scoops. And where did I get this big bag from? I don't know. It's a big bag. I either got it from Home Depot or Walmart, something like that. I tend to go through a lot at the beginning of the season. It's the only time I use it. I will mix it into the top of the soil before I plant things. And if I'm putting things in containers, I like to mix some of it in the dirt. So let's see. This thing has gotten really prickly. Man, I don't know what's happening. It was really soft when I first got it. Maybe it's root bound and tired of this little pot. I do not know, but it's gotten very prickly and sharp, so you need your your gloves, gardening gloves. So first thing I'm going to do is plant it up. It's not too root bound, so, but the roots are all the way at the bottom. So let's see. Oh, now I'm putting the top of the root ball probably 2 inches below the lip of the pot, 2 or 3 inches. One, I'm gonna backfill with soil, but also I'm gonna trim this up so that the canopy, I keep looking at the camera to make sure it's still on, because my camera has a tendency to just stop when it gets too hot or something. We are early in the morning, but still the sun shining on it doesn't help. So I'm going to trim up the bottom so you can see a little bit of the trunk of the tree or shrub is what I'm going to do. So it's okay that it's a little bit lower, and I don't want dirt all the way to the top, because I probably, like as I said, will plant around it of some flowers, and so I want to have some space to add maybe a little bit of soil if I need to. All right, and this was in a, what is this, 3-gallon? 3.93 gallon container. I got this, I think it was Home Depot, $50 for this Blue Point Juniper tree. Now obviously the growth will be contained in a pot. It is going to be a topiary, so it requires ongoing pruning. So let's see, let's start with these big ones. And I'm just taking off this bottom branch that's sticking out right now, because I can't really tell if it's straight or not, because this is kind of in the way. I wonder if I could root this. I'm gonna try. You see that? This is the soft blue that it was when I bought it home. But this is growing off the side, so I don't know if it'll work, but I'm gonna try to root that in a separate pot, see if it works. Now I'm just cleaning up the little needles that have fallen all over the bottom and trying to get this as level as I can. Adding my rest of my soil. Already mixed in the fertilizer in the middle, kind of. Uh-oh, I'm out of soil in this bag, so hopefully that's enough. At least for now. Okay. Let's work with the soil here to get it kind of compacted around it so it stands up solidly. You don't want air bubbles, air pockets, air pockets in your pot. I don't think that's a good idea. So you want to compress it a little bit, and plus you want your tree to be able to stand up on its own. So right where the base is, you need to kind of firm it in. Actually, that was kind of just a bit of my dirt, I will say. I'm gonna have to stand back and look at it and make sure it's how I want it. Don't be afraid to manipulate your shrubs to get them into place. They're tougher than they look. Let me see. Alright, so I think it is fairly centered. As much as I can tell, it is. It's going to be good enough. I mean, you could adjust it down the road, but I don't really want to have to mess with it again. I plan for it to stay in the spot for a long time. Alright, let me make sure the camera's on. Now, what I'm going to do first is just get rid of the stuff at the bottom to expose at least a couple of inches of the trunk here. And I disinfected my pruners before I started. I just keep a little spray bottle of alcohol in my potting shed and I spray them and wipe them off. I wonder if I could root this one too. It's a nice straight twig. I'm gonna keep that one. If they're bigger, I'm gonna keep them and see if anything happens. It doesn't hurt me to try to root them. Either they're gonna succeed or not. Stick them down in a pot. I have rooting hormone that I use on the ends. So that's what I am going to do with the ones that, now this one I won't probably because it's smaller and it's pretty curved. So I probably wouldn't use that one. But anyone that's like a straight stem, I'm gonna try to root it. And then I may have even more. Topiaries. They have a collection. Or I may put some in the ground if they take and continue to work on my little screens and hedges I've been trying to make. So, let me pay attention to what I'm doing here. Now I'm trying to cut it as close to the trunk as I can because I don't want any little nubs or anything trying to grow out of it where I've trimmed it. But, you know, you may have to come back and do a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't want to cut into your bark is the thing. Don't do that. And I like to move the pot. Some people might move around the pot. If the pot was a lot heavier, I would be moving around the pot. But given that this is a light plastic pot, I'm spinning it. Alright, I think I want to take this one off. And that. And then I'm going to clean up any little things that are sticking off the base, off the main trunk. And like I said, trying to get as close as I can with my cuts without actually cutting into the trunk, which would not be a good thing. And also this is helping me see whether it's straight, because now I see that it looks like it's leaning a little bit to the left. So let's see. I think that could come off, or that could come off. I don't want to go too crazy here before I decide what I'm doing. come off. And that one can come off. Okay, so far, as you can see here, hopefully you can see, I've exposed several inches here of this main stem. So, and the main stem is what's most important because that's where the new growth is going to continue. So you gotta make sure you see that, follow that main stem, and don't cut it off, or else you're in trouble. Let's start over. So this is my main stem, and I'm gonna put some bamboo sticks in here to stake this because I want to make sure it grows straight, so I can tie it off that way and I can pull it a little bit because it's leaning a little bit this way. It's like curving over probably towards the sun or something from where it was sitting growing, and I want it to stand more this way to the left, so I'm going to stake it. Yeah. And do I want to stake it now? Or do I want to stake it later? If I stake it now, they may be in the way. So I'll do that later. They may be in the way. I'm trying to shape it. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to shape this into a 2-ball to start with. I'm going to leave this spire at the top because this is the central stalk or the trunk, and then I'm going to allow this to grow so that I can have a 3-ball. The reason why I'm not doing 3 balls now is because if I did that, it would stunt the height to a certain extent because my balls would be shorter. I mean, I guess there could be a way to fix it after the fact, I don't know, but I don't want to like cut it up into 3 sections right now because I want it taller and I want bigger balls, so to speak. So what I want to do is just start with 2, and then as it grows, again, I'll add the 3rd one at the top. All right, so let me reposition the camera a little bit. All right, so hopefully you're at least able to see where I'm trimming, and then I can move the camera again later. All right, so let's start trimming. Now, these are kind of big. I think I want to go smaller, a little bit smaller for this. Okay, so I'm gonna make my first ball, and I'm thinking I want to make it about halfway because, like I said, I want this to be pretty tall. As tall as me would be nice. So let's see, and I'm 5'7", so if I wanted it to be as tall as me, maybe the first ball here, or a little actually taller than me, 2nd ball there, and the 3rd ball there. Yeah, maybe a 6-footer would be nice. I think that's as big as I should go with this pot. So I'm just going to start cutting out branches in the middle to expose what's going to be my first ball. Which you could tie, I guess, a ribbon or something around here. I'm not going to do all that. I'm going to make my first ball end about halfway, I would say. So I'm basically just going to cut out all of these stems to expose a couple of inches of the main bark. Turn the pot so as I go, hopefully you can see it. It's supposed to be pretty warm today, up to 76, which is pretty warm for here, for Kalamazoo. We just had our last frost date maybe 2 weeks ago, so about the 7th. So things are just now really waking up here and setting buds and all that good stuff. And there's stuff spilling on here. I mean, if you wanted to, obviously you could put a tarp or a cloth or bed sheet or something around here to protect it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave anything in there and mix it in the dirt. Unless it's a big piece, I'll pull that out. But yeah, that is what I'm going to do. Now, let's see. I have a good amount exposed here. The question becomes, how far up? How much do I want to expose in the center? Let me stop here and get rid of some of this excess so I can see what I'm working with. So my understanding is if you want a ball, you kind of want to start at the top and angle downward along the sides to kind of get your ball shape, I think. And actually I'm finding these Velcros are too big as well. This is a number 11. So I will go to the little shears, which I think can handle this, but I don't want to, I want to be kind of careful here. I mean, it'll grow back, but I don't want to have to wait an extraordinary amount of time if I mess it up for it to grow in. And I'm going to have to clean this up more. I'm aware of that. I'm just right now trying to get the shape that I'm going for here. The general shape. I'm going up this time, which is okay. I have an idea of what's happening. I have an idea, I think, of what's happening here. Okay, do you see it? Can you see it taking shape? I hope so. This one wants to grow up, like into a spire, so it's not the easiest to get it into a ball. You could do lots of fiddling with this, I suppose. I don't know. I'm feeling like something needs to happen in there. Not sure what, but I'm feeling like I need to get rid of some of this. And so, actually, what I'm going to do is come in and cut a lot of this straight across. And I don't know if that's right, but it feels right because it's just trying to get a ball shape here. So I need a lot of this to come outward to create kind of the dome effect that we need for a ball. Okay, that looks more like a ball to me. What's happening with that one? Let's see, stand up. And I'm not gonna go crazy here because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna give it a rough outline of the shape I'm going for. And then I figure, towards the end of the season, I can come back and do more. if I need to do more. Okay, now how do I get my second ball? Is that enough space? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. The second ball, I think I need more space in between the two. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but I'm going to expose more of the trunk basically. I think I'll leave that piece. Let's see what I got here. Sure this is still recording because I can't do this over. I don't know about this one. I probably should leave that one. So, second ball, which will ultimately probably end somewhere near the tip. I don't know if you can see this. Let me angle this up. Oh. All right. So I'm thinking, angle the camera up a little bit just to show you the tip here. This is the tip. Let me stay in front of it. Here's the tip. So what I did is I've cleaned out this. I cleaned the bottom up. I made a first ball. This is going to be my second ball, which I imagine will end somewhere closer to the tip of this, but I can't, obviously I can't cut that out yet because there's only a little bit left, a few inches left. So I'm going to let this grow, continue to grow out, and then I'm going to come back and make my second ball. And then I should have my 3-ball topiary. It's good enough for now. Like I said, I don't want to go cut crazy and then regret it later. So I bet it's giving me the outline of what I want. So I am going to double check this stem and make sure it's all cleaned up. I'm going to stake it and plant my petunias around it, and I don't need to film all that. You don't need to see, you want to see all that, but I'm going to come back after I do all of that and show you the finished pot. Okay? All right, I'll be back. All right, so I am back with the finished product. This is the potted up finished tree. It's at a 2-ball stage right now, and I'm hoping obviously to get it to a 3-ball stage. So basically I just cleaned up the trunk a bit. I did plant some petunias that I got from the big box store, just little 6-packs, yellow, around the base. So I'll have something blooming there this season. And then I chose to just use regular mulch that I used to cover up my garden beds. I wanted that brown mulchy look to it, but you could use stones, pebbles, straw, whatever you would like. I would recommend covering the soil though. It'll help you conserve moisture, especially being in a pot. It's gonna need watering pretty regularly. So there's some crispiness to the leaves from when it was just a couple of weeks it was sitting up front. So I'm gonna leave it back here for now. A little more protected in the back. Hopefully, maybe it's a little less sun. I don't know. It might be the same difference. But I'm going to leave it back here so I can monitor it this season. Plus, I don't want to lug this big pot all the way back to the front. And I did stake it. Not the best looking staking job, I will admit. But I'll move it as it grows. I just kind of want to make sure this stays growing straight. There's an arch. It kind of arches over. So I'm trying to get it to maybe correct itself, and that with rotating it incrementally hopefully will help to get it just straight. So I'm happy with the way it turned out so far. I mean, yeah, it's looking good. It's good or better than I expected to have done for my first time trying to create a more complicated topiary other than just the 1 ball. So I will keep you updated, let you know towards the end of the season how it's looking. I'll come back and try to take a picture of it or make sure I show it in one of my tours. All right, that's all I got for today. Now I'm going to take a break. It's lunchtime. And then I have to get to some other things today, some starts that need to go in, my last set of starts for the spring. And I need to plant up some new things, some seeds. So that is all for today. Thanks for joining me, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.